So in today's little video, whoever's watching this, whoever checking this out, and thank you as always for even wasting your time listening to me go on about whatever. Um, Church, the worst experience of a lot of this generation's life, right? We make jokes all the time about things our parents did when they take us to church, before, after, or during church, And it's bittersweet for some of us. Some of us hate it. Some of us had zero good times in church at all. Some of us had a good time at church, right? And it may have made you a better person, may have made you a worse person, may not have done anything for you at all. But for me, I bring it up because it played a big role in my transformation to who I am today. To be the person that, for those of you who actually know me, you know me by heart or whatever. That's who I am today. A lot of it got to do with starting with church. And I'm bringing this up again also because, it's just something that be on my mind a lot. And why is that? That's because when you raised in the church, right? And I ain't trying to start no debates with nobody. I'm not arguing with nobody. I'm not trying to attack nobody. But when you raised in the church and your mindset is a certain way, it's not gonna work. I'm gonna just say it like that. It's not gonna work. It just doesn't work. And you will get called rebellious. You will get called Satan spawn, right? You're gonna get called all names. I was called every name you could possibly name, just like anybody else would. I'm not the worst kid. Wasn't the worst kid. But you're gonna get called all kinds of names once you start realizing, man, I don't want to go to church. I don't like church. I don't want to be in church no more. This is over. You get enough age. You turn in 12, 13, 14, 15, however long it took for you to, scratch your head and be like, you know what, I don't like this no more. I'm going to be out of here. It's just normal. But I start by mentioning this. I enjoy church sometimes. It took a long time for me to get to the point of enjoying it. I was in the choir, youth choir, men's choir, other kids my age, right? They had a good time doing the holiday services, singing different songs, learning it, doing rehearsals. I did it with my brother. We had a good time. We was like fan favorites. We used to always come. People always wait for us to show up. We show up. Everybody screaming and yelling. Y'all finally came. Oh, it was fun. It was good stuff. But the hard reality was, even though I had the best time of my life being on the choir in church, that was also the point where I was like, this ain't for me. I bet nobody could tell that. Nobody could tell that. But my most active part in church was also the worst time in church. Because every time I was like, man, I don't want to be here. Every time I was like, I'm lying to myself. Every time I was like, I don't think this is for me. Every time. And slowly but surely, it just came out that a lot of people felt the same way. Just because of my church itself, I think individual goals came out for each kid. We were teenagers, turning into teenagers. Some of them was slightly older than me. I was like 11, 12. Some of them were like 14, 15. Some of them were going on 18. They went to different churches. They left. Everybody went different ways. And I think it's just that time in all of our lives where we start to question and be like, you know what? It's not enough here. This ain't it. So I bring this up because I was raised Christian, right? I was raised in a house of Christianity, a house of God, right? And a lot of us were. It may not have to be Christianity, Catholic, Baptist stuff, whatever. It could be Muslim stuff, Jewish stuff, Buddhist stuff, whatever. We all have some kind of tradition in our family, and tradition doesn't necessarily have to always be about religion, but it's just most common that it's religion. And sometimes you get rejected when you start to think differently. Sometimes you feel strange because you start to think differently. You don't find yourself in a comfortable space anymore because you're starting to think. You're starting to realize this is not something to go on and be all, we starting to talk that woke crap and all that. Nope, because I don't even identify as woke. I've never said I'm woke or asked anybody, are they woke? It's not about that. It's just about journeys. It's about realizing stuff. So like I just said, I participated in my church. As I got older, I did try. I tried my best, right? And I had a good time. But on the same note, I knew it wasn't it. So I had family. I had members of the church that I used to ask questions like, well, how do you know this is real? How do you know this counts? How do you know this matters? How do you know how do you know the afterlife exists? How do you know the way we live is proper? How do you know the way you live is proper? You say you a saint, but how do you know that? How you know you really being a saint? How am I a sinner? How do you know I'm being a sinner? What do you know? And sometimes I ain't getting no answers. A lot of time I ain't getting no answers, to be honest. Just keep reading, keep reading, keep reading. Like, nah, explain yourself, man. So what I come to find is that church ain't for me. All right. And with that being said, I found myself studying everything else. Now, one of the other worst things you could do besides question the whole system is to go find something else to believe in. Once again, you're going to get called rebellious. You're going to get called brainwashed. Maybe you possess. You need help, blah, blah, blah. How? Because I'm trying to understand? Nah, not cool. But I found myself stumbling upon Buddhism. I found myself stumbling upon all these other overseas religions. I got a big book of religions, small, some of them basically just cults, not even religions, but if you know the difference, you know the difference. If you don't, you don't. That's a whole nother topic, right? And the point being is, these things made me happier, right? And just because it make you happier don't mean it's right. They would love to, an extremely religious person would love to throw that in your face. Is that just because you think it's right don't mean it's right. Just because it feels good or it's making you happy don't mean it's right. Yeah, that's true, 100%, 100%. But guess what? When I stopped trying to prove myself in the Christian sense, I felt more at peace with myself. I became a better person. My school experience, interacting with other people, other kids, changed. How I saw the world changed. How I wanted to go about doing things in my life changed. Church wasn't it. Talking to the pastor, the reverend, wasn't it. That wasn't my answer. As much as I had a good pastor, I had good reverends, I had good everybody. I never had no bad experience. Some people had terrible experiences in church. I never had any. Good for me. But that wasn't it. It really wasn't. I did not find my answers in the church. I found that outside the church. I found it doing what I want to do, researching what I want to read, going to the library, pulling out stacks of books. Mom looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm coming home with 10 books in my hand and 5 DVDs about all these different things. I needed it. That's what I needed. I had no guidance. I had no purpose, and church wasn't doing it. It really wasn't. And my church was falling apart anyway, as it is. No disrespect like that, but man, the issues of man, as much as they preach about it, was becoming an issue inside of the church. And it affected the kids. It affected all the elder members. It affected everybody. So I'll say all this to say this one major thing. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening to me rant about bullcrap. But the point is, starting with religion, because that's usually one of your first barriers as you getting older, is questioning this. And asking yourself, is it correct or not? Is it for you or is it not? My answer is this. Whatever floats your boat, man. Because I'm not going to spend time arguing with people about what they believe in anymore. Not that I have like as much recently, but I used to be passionate about it. But you can't tell somebody what's wrong. You can't tell somebody what to believe in if they don't see no reason to see otherwise. That's just what it is. People still wasting their time studying religion just to try to debate somebody. Stop debating people. It's pointless now. Stop trying to convert people, right? Because the whole time you waste energy trying to convert someone to believe what you believe, are you asking yourself, are you right? Are you fact checking yourself as well? Probably not. People don't. So I always look for answers to see if I'm wrong. I'll always look for answers to, see if maybe I am believing the wrong thing. Maybe I do need something else, but I always ask myself that. So you got to tell me that. I just do it to double check because I could be wrong. And I know I could be wrong, but I'm embracing that. I ain't going to lie, So find your thing. Do what's good for you now in 2021. Now that's 2021. So happy to say that. Right? Now in 2021, I got a collection of practices. I believe in different things. I study things from different places. Every day I walk and breathe, right? I think about different things that I learn from different religions, different quotes, different scripture, different lessons, different stories, and it makes me make good decisions. It makes me want to interact with people. When I talk to certain people, I can pass because I know knowledge that other people don't. Some people can't talk to a random white Jewish person from overseas that don't know nothing and not get far because they don't have no education. You got to have a ground of where to start. If you don't study a variety of things, you ain't going to get nowhere. Unfortunately, some of y'all don't care to make friends and don't care to interact with other people, but how you ever going to be successful and how you going to make it far anywhere if you don't know how to talk to people? You got to understand other people's culture. You got to understand where other people come from. So long story short, even though the 10 minutes is not a short story. Do your thing. Don't worry about what family got to say about what you believe in. Don't let them decide what's good for you. You gotta come to your own terms. If you decide you believe in God, don't be ashamed of it. You decide you don't believe in God, don't be ashamed of it. Do what you gotta do. Whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you make the right decisions, whatever makes you do the right thing. Long as you ain't out here trying to hurt somebody, you ain't lying, you ain't scheming, you ain't stealing, you're not being a fraud with whatever you believe, you good in my book. Because it's people who do believe and don't believe in many things, and they still make all the wrong choices on the planet. So, with that being said, check out my other videos. If you listen to this 11 minutes of bull crap, thank you. But think about that. Think about that. Ask questions.